Oh boy, here we go again. Back in the action here once again. I missed you guys last week, by the way. Hope you all had a fantastic week while I was away, but it's about that time of day again. Time to get back to work tonight, Monday evening. It's August 16th, 2021. My name is Joseph, and as always, welcome back to your nightly newsletter. Now, if you're watching for the first time tonight, it's great to have you with me. My job tonight is to help us find the best trade setups for tomorrow. That's Tuesday's trading session. Get a great video in store for you guys tonight. Charts are already in the background, as you can see. Gold's here, Nasdaq's here. S&P's always here, and glad to see you are here right along with us. Had some big moves on the E-minis today. Got some choppy range-bound setups on the gold for tomorrow. Got a lot of good trades on our radar. I'd love to buy some pullbacks on the S&P. Maybe see some ranges on the E-minis tomorrow. And, of course, get a nice little combination of a spike in channel and a range on the gold. Bunch of great trades for Tuesday's trading session. By the end of this video tonight, you'll know my favorite trades for tomorrow. You'll also know some stuff to avoid to keep yourself out of trouble tomorrow, whether trading on your own or you're trading with us tomorrow in our trade room. Now, of course, like always, before we jump into the video tonight, I just want to make sure to remind you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I publish this video every evening. I don't want you to miss tomorrow night's video, so make sure you subscribe. Hit that little bell icon so you always get notified every time we publish something new. If you have any questions, drop those questions for me. I would love to get any questions answered in the comment section below, so don't be shy. Drop those questions if you got them. And as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in every evening. If you enjoy this video as much as I enjoy making it, do me a favor, that like button, that thumbs up button for me here on this YouTube video. But make sure you subscribe, drop those questions, and thumbs up here on the content here tonight. But enough of the intro, though. Time is ticking. Tuesday is right around the corner. Where are the best trades for Tuesday's trading session? Well, let's see here. We got a big, strong move up on the E-mini. Big, strong move up on the Nasdaq. Anytime we see a strong move like this in one direction, we are definitely looking at a pullback and a retest of that high. So both the Nasdaq and the S&P are pretty straightforward. We'd like to buy some pullbacks. Got some key levels of support here. Now, before you go jumping any conclusions, there are three types of pullbacks I look for. Three different types of pullbacks I look for whenever we have those real strong moves. So tonight we'll talk about the three different types of pullbacks. And then also, too, you'll notice I've got some ranges on the chart here. Anytime we see a move of this size, right? Huge move this afternoon for both the Nasdaq and the S&P. Anytime we see a big move like that, there's a very good chance tomorrow we're going to see a range at some point tomorrow. Now, it may come early, it may come late, so make sure you watch the whole video here tonight to make sure you know what the plan is. If it comes early, if it comes late, we'll talk about how to trade those ranges. And of course, it is summertime trading, so I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't also watching for some reversals here tomorrow as well. So I will definitely not forget the short side because, of course, we're at all-time highs right now or close to them on the Nasdaq. I wouldn't mind a reversal here, selling short off the highs, so we'll talk about reversals as well. Over on the gold tonight, gold is a great little kind of cocktail of or mixture of a range and a spike in channel. I would love to buy that nice deep pullback right on the gold right now. I've also got some really nice levels up overhead, so I'll have to look for some breakout trades as we go here. Get some really good trades for gold here, setting up for Tuesday. Now, speaking of Tuesday, before we jump into these charts any deeper here, let's just make sure we're all on the same page for tomorrow. Tomorrow, of course, we do have some of the biggest news of the week here tomorrow. Now, of course, it is the third week of the month, which means you've got options expiring, OPEX, not quad witching like we had back in the month of June or we'll have in September, but we do anticipate some increase in volatility as we go into OPEX later on this week. We're not going to be dealing with that tomorrow, but just keep it in mind, right, as we go later on this week. Now, as we look at tomorrow's schedule, you can see there's two really big news events, one being the retail sales number and the second one being the industrial production number. Now, remember, we're not going to trade the news tomorrow morning in the trade room. we'll trade the reaction to that news, right? So I'm not trading right on top of 8:30, but by 8:35, 8:40, I'm definitely looking for a trade after retail sales, right? Industrial production, 9:15 news. We're not going to trade right at 9:15, but by 9:20, 9:25, and of course, definitely after the opening bell comes and goes, be looking for trades on our radar tomorrow. In fact, in our trade room, some of our best trades over the past few months have come around 9:40. So we may see this thing, industrial production, right? Get the market moving through the open, and then some nice trades, 9:40, 10 o'clock, 10:15. Now, talking about tomorrow's trade room session, don't forget, we get together every day, 8 o'clock Eastern time. I have a front row seat for that retail sales number and, of course, the industrial production number coming thereafter. I would love to have you there trading right along with us tomorrow. I'll put a membership link below the video on the website right now. I'll also put a link in the description of this YouTube video. You know, it's difficult to learn to trade on your own out there. So, definitely come out and trade this stuff with us Monday through Friday at 8 o'clock Eastern time. We also have some big news. Maybe not big news. We got Jerome Powell tomorrow afternoon. I wouldn't worry too much about that. I can't recall exactly what the topic is, but this is not to be confused with that stuff we saw last week, right? Or 2 weeks ago from Jerome Powell. So I would be surprised if the markets care too much about that. I would mostly focus on that retail sales and industrial production number here for tomorrow. And again, don't forget 8 o'clock Eastern time in our trade room. And I also want to make sure you guys are aware of this too. Unfortunately, I had a death in the family over the weekend, and the funeral is on Thursday afternoon. I would much rather be here with you guys on Thursday evening with Thursday evening's newsletter. But what it looks like right now is unfortunately, Family Matters will take me away from the desk on Thursday afternoon. Now, I believe the funeral is around 1 o'clock, so I'm going to do everything I possibly can. Obviously, be with you guys in the trade room all week this week, but it's one of those things that happens in life, and you got to kind of just shuffle things around and get through it. So I hate to be back this week and have to cut this thing early this week. Believe me, I was not anticipating this. I know the whole family was not, but I will definitely be. I'll be working with you guys all week here this week. We'll be in the trade room on Thursday, but of course Thursday afternoon there'll be no trade. There'll be no newsletter on Thursday afternoon. We'll come back and we'll get back to our normal schedule, obviously the following day, but just be aware of that. Unfortunately, we had a death in the family. It was rather unexpected, so we'll get through it here this week. I really appreciate everybody who's reached out this morning here so far. But long story short, tomorrow morning, all week in the trade room, no newsletter, unfortunately, on Thursday evening. We'll come back to our normal schedule the following day. All right, let's get off the somber tone. Let's get back to good vibes here on this video. Again, I really appreciate you guys reaching out here. We were talking about that earlier here in the trade room. Got the charts ready to go, right? S&P is ready. NASDAQ is ready. Gold is ready. Glad to see you are ready right along with us. I'm going to put some chapters at the bottom of this video, right, as always. You can kind of plug and play which market you want to go back to. Let's start with the S&P. Right, S&P, of course, and the NASDAQ are pretty similar here. The S&P, as you can see, the most important factor on this chart right now is this really big leg in one direction. Anytime we see this much strength in one direction, it's almost a guarantee that at some point tomorrow we're going to come back and retest that high. That is a very big important clue. So that tells me now I should be looking for levels of support, right, such as that prior swing high, levels of support, right, at the low of that channel. And I definitely have a, kind of a big bullseye right now for a retest of that high. Now, I also mentioned in the introduction that whenever we see a move of this magnitude, right, this is a very strong move, but it's also a very large move. And anytime we see a large move in one day, oftentimes the following day is a trading range. Now, we don't know when that range will show up. I've done a pretty good job, I think, at anticipating where that range is, but let's be honest, right? This market may pull back, retest the high, go higher, and then into a range, right? That might be what happens. It may also just simply start trading sideways, right? Start trading sideways into a range right now. So we really have to kind of wait and see what happens here overnight. But I'm going to give you guys some ammo here to work with here, and obviously we'll fill in any blanks tomorrow morning in our trade room. There are 3 basic types of pullbacks that I want to kind of keep on my radar right now whenever I see this much strength, right? And what you want to think about is support levels are our best friend, right? Support levels, right? So support levels are definitely our best friend right now. The question is do we see a relatively shallow pullback? Do we see a modest pullback? Or do we see a really deep pullback, right? That is the big question. And then does that deep pullback turn into a reversal? Right? So we'll talk about that here as we go, and then we'll anticipate kind of if this range. Everything I'm talking about today on the S&P will also really translate well over to the S&P. So let's dive right in here now. 3 types of pullbacks, right? When you see a strong move up like this, again, there's a very good chance we retest those highs, right? And close that loop, as we always say. Right now, talk about shallow pullbacks. When it comes to shallow pullbacks, you want to be looking for traps. Traps are going to be your best friend whenever you're looking at a relatively shallow pullback, right? I want to get down in this buy zone, down around this 44.63 area. If we don't, right? If all we get is a little shallow pullback here, right, off the moving average, think about traps, right? Think about traps. Okay, so trap entries are going to be your best entries on a shallow pullback. Now, hopefully we get something more than that. Hopefully we can get down underneath the moving average, get down into this buy zone. At that point now, what I'd like to do now is try to trap in the sellers, right? Not with a trap setup, as we talked about earlier, but with a failure. What I'd like to do is get this thing to pull back off those highs, get those bears to commit to the short side, and then once those bears get short, we know exactly where their stops are, and because we know the odds are so good of a retest of that high, I can now buy into stop losses. I can also buy the first pullback off that moving average, right? We call these failure into pullback combinations. That's going to be on a, not that shallow, but it's also not very deep either. Now, let's talk about the third one. The third one is honestly what I think all of us probably hope we get tomorrow, a really deep pullback. Get down underneath the weekend gap. By the way, the weekend gap is last Friday's close. Whenever we have a closing price from Friday, there's a gap on Sunday. When you see a big wide open gap like that, that weekend gap, that 59 3/4 area will be on our radar pretty much the rest of the week here this week. Now, if we really pull back, right, we really pull back nice and strong, now what you want to do is you want to give the bears the benefit of the doubt. Let them try twice now. Let them try once. Let them try twice. And we would love to get that failure into pullback combination. But what oftentimes happens is you'll get the failure, but it will then snap higher, and just because all the bears are trapped, you can then grab, right, a trap entry, because again, you don't want to buy too high, and traps are always the best, right, to buy those highs, right? So again, if we really get that deep pullback, think about the bears now trying to come in and take this thing lower. Let them try it once, let them try twice. Once you get those bears committed, all their pain points are right above that high. I always like to look for a trend line off that low, right? Buy off that trend line, buy into those stop losses. And then again, don't chase it as it's going higher. Grab that trap, right? This is really what I would hope we get tomorrow. A deep pullback, a 2-try failure, right, into a bear trap. Now, talking about traps, talking about failures, there's going to be a lot of terminology in this video that might be brand new to you, might be a bit, foreign. It's almost like a different language, right? Trading price action. If you're here for the first time right now, I would definitely recommend you grab our Quick Start class. Our Quick Start class is like a shortcut course. It'll go over all the charts, the indicators, how to find support and resistance, and most importantly, how to trigger the entries, not using indicators, but using price action. I also cover and provide hundreds of examples of how we apply, these failures, right, into traps, right? Hundreds of examples of those of our favorite setups on our favorite markets. It's all included in that Quick Start class. It's a free trading class. I want to give you guys that shortcut to kind of bring you up to speed on how we trade in our trade room, and of course, so we can get the most of our time together here on this video newsletter. So again, at any point during this video, if you're wondering, okay, what does the entry look like? What are the rules for it? How do you find the channels or the ranges? All of that stuff is covered and a lot more in that Quick Start class. So make sure you grab that link in the upper right-hand corner. I'll also put a link for you guys down in the description of this YouTube video. So now we know how to trade this thing as it pulls back, right? Now, at some point, this thing will turn bearish. At what point does a pullback turn into a reversal? As soon as those bears can jump off the moving average, right? So if I get a deep pullback right now and the bears try a couple times, right, I'm going to buy right into those stop losses. However, if we see that deep pullback, or in all reality, it could be even a shallow pullback for all I know, right? But once those bears jump off the moving average, once we see them get some distance away from the EMA, that's when we know we have what we call a 1, 2, 3 reversal. Now these are really, really powerful patterns. The key is you don't want to chase it, right? You don't want to chase it going lower. What I'll do is I'll mark up a new low, I'll mark up a new high, and then drill down to a faster time frame. And again, we'll cover more of these details in that Quick Start class. My two favorite entries off the high of this channel are traps, failures. Failures oftentimes lead into pullback combinations, right, into strength moves going lower. Now, sometimes what happens is the market will really run. For example, it'll pull back, it'll jump, and it will, like this one, right? It'll really run. It'll really run. If it really runs, your focus is going to be on traps, right? So if for example, if the bottom just completely drops out of it and the market collapses, if it really runs, just remember, you don't want to sell too low, right? So find that trap, right? And that's where you want to look for those shorts, right, off those traps as we go. Targets are pretty easy for the bears, right? Back down to retest those lows. So keep that on your radar for tomorrow. I really don't want to get too aggressive getting short until we see that 1, 2, 3 reversal, that change in momentum. Now, what if we do go sideways here? If we do end up going sideways here overnight, honestly, not a lot changes. Shallow pullbacks, right, tell us look for traps. Deep pullbacks, right, look for failures, right? Get those bears roped in and buy into those stop losses. Again, you'll learn a lot more about these patterns in that Quick Start class. And then, of course, if it really pulls back, right? If it really goes lower, that's where, again, we wait for the bears trying once, right? Trying twice, find those stops, and we're buying into stop losses. Now, I should also point out as well that if we get lucky enough to get that deep pullback after a range tomorrow, if the market then starts to make that run higher, don't forget to find your pendulum swing. We can mark up the amount down, we can mark up the amount above, and they're equal, right? So that now becomes the target on the other side of the range. One of my favorite trades is using a 2-try failure pattern and then grabbing a new channel and grabbing that pullback off the low of that channel. Now, again, I'm simplifying this, right, for this video right now. What I'll do is I'll drill down to a faster time frame, right? This is a 6,000 tick chart. I'll drill down to a much faster time frame, and I'll grab my price action entries off the low of that channel. Ends up being a 2-try failure, right? Usually into a trap entry or a failure entry. You'll see examples of that in the Quick Start class, right? So we'll grab that, and again, that target is up around those highs, right? trade the rotation. Now, one more question here. What if we keep going higher? Well, if we keep going higher, we're going to probably run into what's called double up resistance. If I take the amount we went lower and I project the amount going higher, that is when you're at all-time highs like this, there really isn't a very good measured move, right? Most of the times we'll get a pullback, go up, pull back, and we can measure, these measured moves, and I can anticipate, right, a measured move target or an ABCD target. We don't really have that luxury to work with right now. So what I'm doing is, as I'm measuring the move down, I'm just simply doubling it up, right, as we go higher. That is a good, easy kind of giveaway as far as where these buyers may be trying to go. If they keep going, that 4,500, and then dare I say, where is that? It's all the way up. I'll get it on a slower time frame for us next time. But there's another big level way up top there. Right now, though, I get that 4,485 and that 4,500 level. Those will be some big magnets as we go. How do we buy this thing as it goes higher? Can we buy it as it goes higher? Yeah, absolutely. For example, right, if this market was to keep going higher right now, the first thing I would do is look for a trap underneath that low off the high of that channel, right? So if we start looking at this, if it goes higher again, that creates one of my favorite price action setups. We call these two-try traps. Right? It's a strong move up, a shallow pullback, a higher high in price, and again, it's a trap below that low. Definitely like to combine that with the low of a channel, right? So keep an eye on that. Or we may see this market make a run up and we may get that trap up a little bit higher, right? So kind of keep that in mind as we're going higher. Again, we may also see this thing push higher and go into a range up here, right? We talked about the range here earlier, right? So just be aware of that as we're going higher. As we're going higher, your best bet is a trap entry because we've had almost zero pullbacks, right, so far. And then kind of one last thing, right? Let's say we do get the pullback. Let's say we do retest the high here. Can I sell at that point? I definitely can, but I have to wait for those signs of exhaustion, right? So if we do get that pullback, right, we do get that beautiful pullback, we go back up, we retest the high. Now, keep your eyes open for an exhaustion reversal. One try for the bulls, two try for the bulls. A trap is always going to be my bread and butter. At that point, it's one, it's two, it's trap, right? And we're selling back down again. Easy target. Back to retest those lows. And if it really starts to push, mark that new channel, right? Off those lows, off those highs, drill down to your faster time frame and grab one of the price action entries I talk about in the quick start class. All right, guys? Easy stuff. But again, remember, we don't want to be looking for those shorts until we get that pullback, that retest. Let those buyers get what they want, and then we can look for that reversal coming off the highs from there. Now, I'm sure there'll be some curveball tomorrow, right? So don't forget, come out and join us in the trade room tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time. I'll put all the important links you guys need the description of the YouTube video. Let's keep going. So we got the S&P already. Nasdaq, unfortunately, is going to be a little bit of a same thing right now. We're very, very bullish. There's no doubt about that. Anytime we see a really strong move in one direction, the odds are very good we get a pullback and a retest of that high. Will they keep going up to that all-time high? Right? Will they come back, retest that high, and then go into a range up here? You know what I mean? Same basic idea as we talked about on the S&P. And again, just the S&P, because we had such a big move here today, just be anticipating a potential range here for tomorrow, right? So again, a lot of the stuff we talked about on the S&P can really be applied here on this NASDAQ. For example, right, a shallow pullback, I'm looking for a trap entry, right? If I see a relatively deep pullback, I'm looking to trap in those bears with a failure setup going short, right, to buy into their stop losses and grab that pullback, right, for another leg higher. failure into pullback combination. Or maybe we get lucky, honestly get lucky, and we get a really deep pullback off the high, right? Not deep enough to call this a 1, 2, 3 reversal, but deep enough to give the bears the benefit of the doubt. Let them try once, let them try twice. All of their pain now, right, is right above that high. It's a 1, 2 failure, and then don't forget, these will oftentimes snap up, and you can grab that trap right before we retest those highs, right? 2 try failure into a trap entry. And again, you're going to see hundreds of examples of these exact same price action setups. They're covered all in that quick start class that's linked up in the description. At the same time, right, if we dig deeper here now, we hold that pullback and we jump off the moving average, right? 1, 2, go. Now where are we going? We're probably going back down to retest that low here. Mark up that low, mark up that high, drill down to a faster time frame, right? We're not going to trade off this 4,000 tick chart. We're going to drill down to a faster time frame from my bull trap, from my buyer failure, right? Failure into pullback combination. You'll learn those in the quick start class, right? Or, as I mentioned earlier, if the market really takes off and runs lower here, your main objective now is to find a prior swing. If I can grab that channel, even better. But if anytime we see a strong move in one direction, a shallow pullback, and a lower low, that trap is money, baby. That is a great, great, great short. Yeah, I would much rather be something short up top here. But again, you can't predict that reversal, right? That's a rookie's game, right? Trying to predict reversals. Wait for that 1, 2, 3, and then grab again that first pullback, right? So I'll stay patient on the first one, but once this thing reverses direction, you got to get aggressive and sell the top of that channel, right? As we're taking out those lows here. Now, speaking of getting aggressive here, if the market runs higher, actually 1 second here. What if it goes sideways? Right? Same basic idea, right? Find that trading range, find that level of support below the range. What do? Wait for that pullback, get those bears roped in, right? Get the bears in for a failure, and then don't forget to think about that pendulum swing, right? The amount we go below, the amount we go above, that's your new objective, okay? Don't just watch it going higher, find that new channel. And then that's when you want to pull back, again, drill down to a faster time frame, obviously, and grab that pullback off that new channel, right? Oftentimes, those are bear trap entries in our trade room or seller failures on the opposite side, right, of the moving average. So really got some great opportunities here, even if we go sideways. If we go higher here, we get the all-time high overhead. And then again, we talked about the double up technique. That double up is the next one, right? So again, you really can't, you can do a little bit with a measured move here, right? There could be a little bit of a measured move there, but with these all-time highs right now, they get those big drops and those punches back higher. Next big objective will be that double up, right, up overhead. A lot more dramatic, obviously, than the S&P right now. If we go higher here, right, what's the plan? If we go higher, if we keep on going higher, what's the plan here? The plan is now we know there's a lot of aggressive buyers out here. Mark up those highs, mark up those lows, right? Grab those traps, grab those failures, grab those pullback combinations. Again, you'll see hundreds of examples of these price action setups, right, in the quick start class I mentioned earlier. Trap, failure, pullback combination, right, as we go. Just remember, it doesn't matter where we are on the chart. If we have enough momentum, the odds of a retest are very, very good, right? So make sure you stay patient for that pullback. We may also see something like this where it may pull back to that moving average and it may jump off the moving average. If that happens, obviously, again, I won't look for a trap off that low because we're so high up right now. But if they want to keep it going here, not to worry, drill it down, find that new channel, and we'll drill down to a faster time frame here and we'll grab that first pullback. I don't want to buy the first pullback. I'll buy the first pullback as long as I can get that trap, right? As long as I get that trap entry, just because we've got such a big move and we're, right back at these highs right now. If I can get those bears to get roped in for a trap, I would love to buy that first pullback, but I got to be patient here on that. If they don't get it and they just simply jump and go higher here, this again is that same 1, 2, 3 breakout pattern, right? Same principle as a 1, 2, 3 reversal. Right? Same basic idea. So they hold that pullback and they jump off the moving average. If we see a lot of strength going higher, just simply grab that high, grab that low, zoom into a faster time frame, obviously, right? And we're going to grab our entries. Again, most of the time, this would be traps, failure, pullback combinations. I cover all the rules for that stuff right inside the quick start class. All right, we're looking pretty good there. Got the buy side. Got the sell side, right? We know how to sell the sell side here. Wait for that reversal before we try getting short. And again, if we pull back, we double top off that high, right? Buyers try once, buyers try twice, then we dump, right? I can sell into stop losses after a 2-try reversal. I can mark up that new channel, and I can grab that short from there as well. That may be something to look forward to towards the middle to the end of the day or the end of the morning here tomorrow, right? So buyers get what they wanted, right? They get the pullback, they retest the high, they kind of take out that objective, then the buyers struggle to keep going higher. That leads into our first short of the morning, right? Into that 1, 2, 3 move, selling off that high and dumping it back down to retest those lows. Very optimistic about that tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see, obviously, what we get, right? We're day traders, so we'll take whatever the market will give us here. I'm giving you guys some ideas here for tomorrow, but, I'm just like you. I don't know what the market's going to give me. I'm going to wait and see what we get, and we'll trade what we see here. Last but not least here right now, over on the gold. Gold, you'll notice, is quite a low volume environment right now. You can definitely tell it is the month of August. Now, let's see here. There are two main components on the gold right now. One, which I think is probably the most important component, is this spike in channel. Now, spike in channels, if you've watched this video many times before, you know that spike in channels are very important to learn because they tell us to trade the base of that channel, right? Think about where the channel runs into that spike, right? So there's your spike up. There is your new bull channel, right? Spike up into your channel, right? I want to now look for a pullback into the base of that channel, right? That's one very important component. At the same time, it also kind of smells like a range right now, right? If you were to look at this as a range, it does smell like something's up, right? Maybe there's a triangle here, triangle there, right? Could be seen, right, as a trading range. Now, that's also a very important clue because what's a range? A range is a magnet, right? Ranges are magnets, and whenever we have a strong bull move into a trading range, what do? We find levels of support below the range, right? And we buy off those levels of support, right? So we definitely do have quite a bit to work with here, lining up in the same location. You can also see too that double up overhead. That'll be an easy target. The amount we go lower is the amount we go higher here. You could probably say there's a measured move here, one leg, two leg, but again, with these types of kind of, a little bit lower volume, summertime markets, double ups are pretty common just because the market likes to skip across the chart on that lower volume or lower liquidity. So just be aware of that, right, as we go higher. If we go lower here, you got that range from earlier in the session. The session did spend quite a bit of time in the pre-market today going into a range. We saw that broken pendulum into broken, right, into broken range, right? Really good example there. Once we see a broken pendulum, you pretty much know you got a broken range there. So I would love to buy a pullback here. A lot of this can overlap from the S&P 500, right? Let's say, for example, right, we have this, potential trap spot there at 84. Yeah, 84.4. Let's say, for example, all we get is that shallow pullback, right? Shallow pullback, trap entry. Okay, that's a great one. That will allow you to avoid trading inside that range, right? Traps are great when you have a shallow breakout of a trading range. Or maybe we get lucky, right? We get that deeper pullback down into that weekend gap, which remember is last Friday's closing price. At that point now, we get those bears to come in. Right? Remember, we get a lot of momentum going higher here right now. Get those bears to commit off the moving average. Once they get short off the EMA, now we know where their stops are, where their pain points are, and we can now buy into those stop losses. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we can then mark up the amount below, the amount above. That becomes a big objective, right? We can then grab that failure. If it really starts to race higher, I can then zoom in on the faster time frame and grab that pullback. And again, I'm simplifying it right now. I don't actually buy the pullback, right, on a faster time frame. It'll usually be a price action entry, right, like a trap, a failure, and then into a pullback setup. Again, I cover all those price action entries in that quick start video I mentioned earlier, right? So failure into that first pullback or first test of the low of that channel. Right? Remember, first test is always the best test. And then let's just say, for example, we really get knocked down. Right? Really get knocked down. What do? You let them try twice, right? Give them the benefit. Let them try once. Let them try twice. Rope in all those bears. Get that baby running higher. Grab that trap, right, to retest those highs there. And then I'll tell you, that will be kind of a gift, right? One try, two try. We're buying into those stop losses. I can draw that trend line, right? And buy off of that, right? Buy off of that trend line there as well. Lots of different ways we can take that entry and, of course, grab that trap on the way back up to retest the high and leave that runner, right, for that possible pendulum swing all the way up on the opposite side. How does this market turn bearish? What do you think? How do we turn bearish? Well, let's be honest, right? If they were to pull back, if the bears were to hold that pullback and jump going off those highs, then, it's tough to ignore that. That will definitely be a 1, 2, 3 reversal. I'm going to mark up that low. I'm going to mark up that high. I'll drill down and look for my price action entries off the high of that channel. Our target is pretty easy at that point, right? Back to retest the low. I think the only variable on that would be that range that you can see below us. So if we were to get that 1, 2, 3 going lower, we may end up kind of going back into that range here for a bit. If that was the case, what I'll do is draw that trend line down, right, off that high, combine those trend lines, right, with those failure patterns. I know we haven't talked a lot about the short side yet today, but I can definitely look for failure patterns, right? Get above the moving average, get those buyers to foolishly buy the first pullback. Once they do, their stops are right below that low. And again, it's a failure setup, right, coming off the high of that trading range. And we've talked about, right, how to find that pendulum swing, how to trade that rotation, right? We've talked about that a couple times already. So keep that on your radar for tomorrow on the short side here as we go. If we do go higher, what's the plan if we go higher here? If the market continues to grind higher here, right, if it continues, basically continues to grind higher here, at that point now, the pullback into the base of that channel is a lot less likely. What we'll do is we'll look for traps below prior swings. Again, if we do end up going higher here, right, making those new higher highs, now we know it's all about, get that off there real quickly, now we know it's all about getting that pullback, getting down underneath a prior swing. That way we're freeing up enough space there. I have 3 options, right? A trap entry, a failure entry, and a pullback, of course, combination coming off that low, right? Trap low, failure entry, pullback entry, or if for some reason it just snaps, right, and runs higher, another trap, right, as we go here, right? Another trap there as we go, right? Makes sense? So again, I know I'm repeating myself quite a bit on this, but welcome to trading, right? Welcome to trading. Trading is applying the same system over and over again because we know the system works so well, right? We can just keep on applying it over and over again, right? So trap, failure, either a trap or a pullback, right, as we go higher here. The one thing, again, I would be looking out for, too, if the market was to sprint higher up here into that double up, is look for a new range up here. right? Look for that new bull range, find those levels of support, right? And again, combine those areas of support here, right, with those failures off the low. All right. Now, again, I'm sure I probably missed something here tonight. Again, we get a pretty good idea of how to go short off these highs. And also, too, and again, I've mentioned this before, right? We may end up getting that deep pullback. We may see that retest of the high. And then all of a sudden, right, the buyers are struggling. They're trying once. They're trying twice. Can they get that trap, right, for that reversal off the high? And then again, mark that low, mark that high, drill down, and sell that, right, and sell that pullback as well. Right, so two try reversal at that point, but again, we may see the buyers come in, get what they want, go back and retest the high. Buyers take their profit off, but they struggle to keep it going. One try, two try for the buyers. You're selling into stop losses, and you're grabbing that first pullback. Most likely, you're now making a run back, right, to retest those lows. All right, guys, don't forget tomorrow morning, every morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time, we'll get our stuff ready tonight for tomorrow. Tomorrow, though, the rubber hits the road. We'll trade the stuff with you guys tomorrow morning in our trade room. And speaking of trade room, don't forget, it's very easy to get started. I'll put all of the membership information you guys need right below this video tonight on the website. I'll also put a link for you guys to click away at, right? If you're on the YouTube channel, I'll put that link in the description of this YouTube video. Also, too, don't forget to call the office if you guys have any questions. Don't be a stranger. I promise I won't bite. Don't be afraid to call the office there. Would love to answer all your questions about brokers or data or computers or any of our membership specials we have going on right now. We have live chat on the left. We got live chat on the right. I would love to answer any questions. You can always drop those questions in the comments section below. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow morning at the opening bell, 8 o'clock Eastern time in our trade room. If not, you better come back and see me tomorrow night for the next edition of our nightly newsletter. As always, my name is Joseph. It feels great to be back with you guys here tonight. I missed you last week. I definitely missed you. I'm not going to lie. I always hate to leave you guys hanging, but it's great to be back here tonight. Got a full week ahead of us, except for that, again, that Thursday afternoon, unfortunately, going to head out for that funeral. Yeah, life happens sometimes. It's unfortunate. We'll keep on pushing through it, though. Keep in touch. You know where to reach me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, right? If not, I'll see you back here tomorrow night on tomorrow night's newsletter. My name is Joseph. Be well out there. Be nice to each other, will you? And be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.